Okay, today we are going to talk about the customary system of measurement. And the customary system of measurement is the system that we use here in the United States. To measure length, we use inches, which is abbreviated IN, foot or feet, which is FT, yards, which is YD, and miles. Alright, an inch is about the width of a thumb. So about the width of your thumb, maybe a little bit more, maybe from knuckle to knuckle, is probably more, the width is about an inch. A foot was actually after a man's foot, so it's about the width of the length of a foot of a grown man. And obviously we know that changes, but from person to person. Yards are about the width of a door, and a mile is about 15 football fields. So we're just getting a feel for what these are. And since this is the system that we use in the United States, we should all have a feel for how big an inch is, how long a foot is, how long a yard is, and how long a mile is. Okay, so then weight. When we have measurements of weight, we use ounces, pounds, and tons. Ounces is abbreviated OZ, pounds is LB, and tons is T. An ounce is about the weight of a slice of bread. So it's pretty light. An ounce is about the weight of a slice of bread. A pound is about a loaf of bread. That's the books that I'm thinking a pound, it's going to be a pretty heavy loaf. And a ton is 2 grand pianos. You know how much a grand piano weighs. All right, so let's look at, so we have length, weight, and then we have capacity. Capacity we measure in fluid ounces, cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. I'm trying to see if I can see you gotta move it down so you can see capacity. Capacity. And you have these notes too. So a fluid ounce, not to be confused with an ounce, is a small drink of water, which is like a sip of water, taking a sip of water. A cup is 8 fluid ounces, so it's probably smaller than, more like a small coffee cup. A pint is a small container of ice cream. A quart, you've seen a quart of milk and a gallon of milk, the large gallon of milk. So I'm sure you're familiar with the quart and the gallon. And that's just to get kind of a feel for what our measurements are and what we use to do it here in the United States. So in the homework today, they're going to give you a situation and you're going to tell them what's the appropriate length or measurement. So the length of your backyard, the length of your backyard. What would you choose to measure the length of your backyard? Well, I don't think you'd use inches, and I don't think you would use miles unless you have a very, very large backyard. So you would probably use feet or yards. The distance to the moon. What would you use to measure the distance to the moon? Well, I don't think we'd measure it in inches, and I think miles makes sense, the distance to the moon. The length of a license plate. How about the length of a license plate? That one you would probably use inches because a foot would probably be too large to measure that. How about weight? Let's talk about measurements of weight. If I wanted to use one of these ounces, pounds, or tons, A bag of oranges, a bag of oranges. Well, ounces would probably be too small. I don't think a bag of oranges would weigh a ton. That would be a very, very large bag of oranges. So pounds would be the correct unit. A package of chewing gum, a package of chewing gum. What would I use? Would I use ounces, pounds, or tons? So hopefully everyone's saying, oh, I would use ounces because a pack of chewing gum is not that big. It's definitely not a pound. All right, and I think you're getting the idea. Capacity, a couple of examples of questions of capacity. What would you use for a sample size bottle of shampoo? A sample size bottle of shampoo, you would probably use fluid ounces. I hear you saying it, fluid ounces. How about gasoline in a lawnmower? I'm putting gasoline into a lawnmower. So I usually buy gasoline by the gallon. So I'd use gallons. All right, so today's homework is going to be pretty straightforward. It's just choosing the correct unit of measurement.